All right, Heat Nation. So I messed around and took a Pat Riley type nap and woke up to the game being over and the trade happening. So I pretty much slept through everything. So, for me, I'm about an hour of being awake and reacting to everything that happens. So, of course, take my little nap in the afternoon after work, sleep the whole night, and wake up confused. So I'm going through the comment section in the Facebook groups, and there's some Heat fans that are not too happy with the trade because I guess they expected a haul for Jimmy Butler, who was already problematic. If you're upset about the trade for with Jimmy Butler and what we got back, be mad at Jimmy Butler because he didn't make this an easy situation. At one point he was saying he wouldn't sign the extension with Golden State, and so I wake up thinking to myself after hearing all this, like, what changed? Doesn't really matter. They're in the West. They're not even like Memphis, and they're not like a second seed in the West. He didn't want to go to Memphis. Ends up with Golden State. At the end of the day, what y'all Heat fans who were like upset about this and saying, "Oh my God, we traded him to a great situation," Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are getting closer to the end of their career. So if you want to say that because he signed the extension with Golden State, that gives them another year or two or three to try to contend. The one thing you can say about NBA players and just sports in general is that Father Time is undefeated. I'm not wishing bad on Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler, but they are up there in age. The age does bring experience, and sometimes that's a great thing, but it also brings the situation where they're likely to get injured. Did you guys forget that we didn't have Jimmy Butler because Kelly Oubre clipped his leg and he messed up his knee? That's the type of stuff that happens to older players. When they're young, they can get injured, but some of those plays they don't get injured on because they're young. But as your body gets older, it becomes a little bit easier for you to get injured. So you could see a situation with Golden State where, either Curry or Jimmy Butler or both players are not available for, key games or, maybe even the playoffs. So I'm not wishing bad on them. I'm just saying Father Time is undefeated. So we end up getting a 29-year-old Andrew Wiggins. And, when you look at the comparison between Andrew Wiggins and Jimmy Butler overall, you can clearly see that Jimmy Butler is the better player. I don't think there's any NBA fan out there that thinks that Wiggins is better than Jimmy Butler. But at the same time, there are some people who are casual NBA fans and even like seasoned NBA fans who watch a lot of games that really don't think that highly of Jimmy Butler. I mean, when you look at the numbers, Wiggins is averaging the same amount of points. He's younger. Maybe he comes to Miami like Dion did, and the Miami system helps him become a better player. One thing I will say is, as much as I'm not saying that Miami has made players, the players they are, you can credit them to helping them get to a better point than they were before they got here. I mean, if you look at LeBron James, he was always good before he got to Miami, but he crapped out in that first final, and that's all that Cleveland shit that he brought over to Miami, that little mentality he brought over from Cleveland, that non-winner mentality. And then years 2 and 3, he ended up winning because Miami Heat, as much as y'all like to disrespect Miami and say we don't have any culture, at the end of the day though, Miami Heat is known for being a hardworking franchise and really strict on diets, and the mentality of winning is there from Pat Riley's days as a player, coach. Like, Pat Riley is very respected in the industry, and so you could see a situation where Wiggins comes here and he plays better than he was playing with Golden State. So Wiggins is 29, Jimmy Butler is 35 years old. Give me the 29-year-old player that doesn't have the max contract and isn't disgruntled. Jimmy Butler is disgruntled, didn't want to be here. If you're a Heat fan riding for Jimmy Butler, you are a weirdo because dude does not want to be here. Don't complain that he didn't get traded to the team that he requested. We don't have an obligation to trade this man to Phoenix, especially if it means that we have to take on Bradley Beal's nasty ass contract, which some of you guys actually wanted that contract, which is crazy to me. Dude gets paid $57 million in his last year and $52 in the second to last year. Why would you want that? And then also, it doesn't make you flexible in 2026. Now, I don't know the details on Andrew Wiggins' current contract. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can look it up, because you had all that 2026 talk. What does Andrew Wiggins' contract look like? Because I think we have a general idea how. Look at this. We're paying Andrew Wiggins $26 million. 28 million, and let's see, 26, 27, he has the player option to opt in for 30 million. He might opt out. He might feel like he's worth more money, especially if things go well with Miami. So look at the point totals. You're looking at they're their overall, point totals. Obviously, Jimmy Butler is better in most categories, but I mean, they average the same amount of points. And in this league, a lot of people are obsessed with scoring, which is why a lot of people don't respect Jimmy Butler like he should be respected. Because when you tell them Jimmy Butler's a good player, they look at you like, yeah, we're not saying he's not a good player, but they don't like his play style. They just feel like he throws his body into people. He can't shoot threes. And, we now got a player who shoots the three better, at least a little bit better. So, 36 is obviously better than 33%. I'm not gonna make it seem like Andrew Wiggins a sniper. He's a little bit. He's definitely more athletic than Jimmy Butler. That's something that we don't consider. But when we talk about some of the important categories, like value over replacement player, I mean, you see the difference. It's a major difference. So I think that's why some of the fans are a little bit upset about the trade. But again, Jimmy Butler didn't make this trade easy for us. So be mad at Jimmy. Don't be mad at Pat Riley. Pat Riley was not sleeping this time around. I was the one that was sleeping, and Pat Riley went and got the deal done. I don't know if he just spoke to Jimmy and said, look here, man, what you mean you're not signing the extension with Golden State? It's a great team. Or Jimmy just had a change of heart because he realized, like, yo, I might end up getting stuck in Miami and having to opt in and take the money that is available to me this summer. So he gets his extension from Golden State. The NBA wrote an article that was basically Golden State, people love Steph Curry. So they're looking at the Miami Heat like, oh, that's great, you got Wiggins. But, a lot of the talk is going to be about Steph Curry and salvaging what's left of his prime. I mean, he's a shooter, so I guess his prime is extended. Unlike some players who were not really shooters, considering the age, they would be towards the end of their prime. But he's a shooter, so he's still in his prime. And then you got the situation where they got to worry about Draymond Green and Butler. There's actually jokes about that right now where people are saying that it might look like, what's his name? The Hitman movie with Keanu Reeves, where Common's shooting at Keanu Reeves. It might look like that whenever they lose a game. It might, man, because they got strong personalities, and then they gave this dude a 2-year extension, $121 million. I don't look, if Jimmy Butler wasn't acting the way he was acting and he gets a $121 million contract, there would still be people saying that he isn't worth that 120 2 years. Like, what's that, 60 and a half a year for a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler? I mean, as long as he doesn't stay hurt, it might be worth it. But is he bringing his joy to Golden State? Because if he's bringing his joy to Golden State, it could help them, but they do play in the West. And 5 points, and the Miami Heat get the last point. I mean, hey, again, we get Andrew Wiggins, and who's younger and more athletic. And we also get Kyle Anderson is pretty low-key, a pretty good player, man. He plays in slow motion. I'm trying to figure out how he would fit in the rotation. I mean, it sounds like Pell and Alec Burke are probably going to be the odd men out if he gets into the rotation. Because he is pretty big too. He's a good player. He can create shots for others, and he can get his own shot off. But yeah, he does it in the slow motion. So it's going to be fun to see Kyle Anderson play for us. And also, we got a protected pick, so we'll see how that plays out. People are saying that they hope that they make the playoffs because then they lose the pick. I mean, that's always a good thing, right? You get a pick. But I'm overall happy with the Jimmy Butler trade. Again, some people are trying to be party poopers because they feel like, the Heat should have gotten back more for Jimmy Butler, which just doesn't make sense if he's making the trade situations difficult. To the point where Memphis is just like, yo, we would like to sign him to the extension or at least consider it. And he's just like, nah. And so you miss out on some nice young players from Memphis. But I'll take Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins is essentially better than any player that we could have gotten back from Memphis. I mean, what we're going to do, give us Desmond Bane? I think I'd rather have Andrew Wiggins. But I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think below in the comments. Did you want Jimmy Butler to magically find his joy back and stay with the Miami Heat? Or did you want to trade him to Phoenix and take Bradley Beal's stupid contract? What do you think about the whole situation with Jimmy Butler? Are you just happy it's over with? Comment down below.